Thank you for joining me today, and happy 4th of July. Today we're going to be making some delicious pickled beets, and these are out of my grandma's Blue Ribbon cookbook. And these are our recipes that have been won at the county fairs throughout the United States. And so we're going to pick a pickled beet recipe that's going to be the exact one my grandma used to use. So I went out last night after it cooled down a bit and I picked beets. I have a whole bunch of beets. And so we're gonna cook those down so that they're not completely soft, but we want the skins to be able to pull off pretty easily. So what I do is I boil them. I leave a little bit of the top part of the leaf stem on the beet. Some of them I leave more than others, especially the little ones. And the little ones I just put in there whole. So I leave the root intact. I pretty much leave everything except for the long stalk of leaves. This is the way my grandma did it. And so I'm going to show you how I put them together to start boiling them. I cleaned them last night and picked them. That's all I've done. So here we go. So all I'm going to do is put these beets into a pan, and then I'm going to cover them with water, and we're going to bring them up to a boil. Now I can for one person, it's just me, but this will be enough pickled beets throughout the year that I'm going to have plenty of beets to have, you know, with different types of things throughout the year. And this is one of those things I use all, look at how funny that root is. Isn't that weird? This is one of those things that I use up no matter what throughout the year. I love pickled beets. I just love them. I love the way they taste. I love that sweet and sour taste that comes with the pickled beets. And so I'm trying to make sure I can get them all in one pan. I'm not quite sure, but I think I'll be able to do it. I don't know with all these roots. Oh well, I think it's gonna work out fine. Okay, so let me put some water in here and see how I can smash all this down. Okay, I've set my beets into a pan of water. I'm going to bring that up to a boil, and then I'm just going to keep testing them to see when they're the consistency that I want, and I'll show you the simple way I pull the skins off my beets. In the meantime, I'm going to get started putting my pickling spice together, and I thought you might enjoy seeing the first pixie peach that I picked this year. So it's huge, and I'm gonna save it until tomorrow for my grandkids. They love peaches fresh off the tree, and I know they're gonna love this. These pixie peaches are so sweet and so delicious, and my tree is just loaded again this year. So while we're waiting for our beets to heat up, we're gonna go ahead and make our own homemade pickling spice. It's really easy. There's a lot of ingredients. And what's really amazing, this is something that can store well for months to come. So let me show you how to make it. So what's nice is that a lot of the items that you use for pickling spice, you probably have on hand. So we're gonna start off by taking one full cinnamon stick, and we're just gonna kind of break it up. Might have to get a smaller one. This one's pretty hard to break. And you put as much or as little as you like in your pickling spice. Now, what's nice about this is that when we go ahead and pickle our, whatever vegetables we have, we're gonna put these in some little pickling bags, so you don't have to worry that they're big or small or what have you. It's all gonna work out. So, as you see, I'm just breaking this up. Some are gonna be easier to break up than others. But I'm taking about a cinnamon stick. If you want more, I'm probably gonna put a little bit more in if I can break this thing up. So we're also gonna take about 5 bay leaves. Now I've got some, these are kind of crushed bay leaves, so it works out perfect. That's about 5. I'm just gonna throw those in. You can see this isn't an exact science. We're gonna take 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. So 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. There's 1, 2. Then we're gonna put in a tablespoon of allspice. I get this in the Hispanic section of the spice aisle. They always have so many great spices. For this, we're going to use 1 tablespoon. Dump that in. Now we're going to be putting in a tablespoon of coriander seeds. Now these also I was able to get in the spice section of the Mexican area, the Hispanic section. So I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to put it in another bag so these stay fresh. But we're going to be putting in a tablespoon of these. The next thing we're going to add is a tablespoon of peppercorns, and I actually have these Pepper Supreme, so I'm going to add a tablespoon of those. And then I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of ground ginger. Okay, that's about a tablespoon. Then we're going to have a tablespoon of dill seeds. I don't have seeds, but I have some fresh dill which has been dehydrated from this year. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to add, oh my gosh, that smells amazing. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of that. Oh, that smells so good. And then I need a teaspoon of whole cloves. Mix all these ingredients together. And then you can put these in a mason jar or what have you. I'm going to leave them right here for now. I wanted to show you how I package them to put them into my beet juice so that we get that really flavored good with our picklings. So I buy these little tea bags online through Amazon. They're paper, they're recycled paper actually. And they work out really good. I like to drink a lot of tea, especially in the winter. Well, in the summer too, actually. And I buy these bulk teas and just kind of keep them on hand. I always have tea made. And so I'm going to use one of these to do my pickling spice. So I'm going to be putting in 3 tablespoons of my pickling spice. I'm going to take a couple pieces of the cinnamon stick and put those in because I really like it heavy on the cinnamon flavor. And then I'm going to just kind of move the cinnamon out of the way, and I'm going to mix in 3 tablespoons of these other items. I want to get some of those black peppercorns. There's 2. And I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more tablespoon. Just like that. So all I'm going to do is just pull the string. It'll stay just fine till we're all done with our sauce. And I'm just going to set this aside. I will link these in the description below if you're interested. I'll put them in my Amazon store. And if you are interested in getting them, I use them all the time. They work amazing for tea, for pickling, for all kinds of things. So I'm just going to put my pickling spices in a little mason jar that I have. And these will keep a long time. I mean, I'll probably end up using them before summer's over, but all I do is just stick them in the cupboard. They're all shaken up, and there you go, your own pickling spice. So I've got my beets boiling. All I'm going to do is get them soft enough that I can peel the skins off. So I'll show you how that looks as soon as they're at that point. So my beets have softened. As you notice, I have gloves on and I have a really dark outfit in case any of this splatters, because honest to goodness, beets, this juice I've found over the years, it just doesn't come off. So I'm straining these and putting them into an ice bath. I want them to cool relatively quickly. They're going to get tangled up because you've got some of your roots attached, and then you've also got some of your plant material attached. So they're going to get tangled up, but it's really important that you leave them on when you're getting these softened enough that you can get these beets done. So as you can see, I've got a mixture of small beets and big beets, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. The little tiny ones, we're actually going to can those whole, but these big ones, we're going to be taking the skins off and then cutting them into smaller pieces, so when they can, they're all going to kind of be a bite-sized piece. So we've got quite a few. All right, I think I got everything. Let me get this hot liquid out of the way. All right, so now all I want to do is let these beets cool off. and then I'll show you how I get the skins off really easy. While those are cooling, let's go ahead and get our liquid mixture put together. I've already got everything ready for you. So all I'm gonna do is take 2½ cups of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna pour that into a pan. And then I'm gonna be taking 2 cups of granulated sugar, and I'm gonna put that in. I've got 1 cup, instead of water, if you prefer to use water, go ahead, but I strained off some of my beet water, and I'm gonna be putting that in, just like that. And then my spice bag that we made earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there, and we're just gonna give that a stir and get that starting to cook down until we have all the flavors melded together, and then we're gonna start canning our beets. Oh, I love the smell of vinegar and sugar. I don't know why. So good. All right. So we'll just let that do its thing, and in the meantime, we'll start peeling our beets. So this is the easiest thing in the whole world. You're gonna take a cooled beet, just gonna pull the end off, and then you're just gonna rub these skins, and they pull right off. This is so easy. This is the way to get your beets completely peeled, the easy way, without losing any of your beet. Now, I usually take a knife. You can see now why I wear glasses, or you can see now why I wear gloves. I'm gonna get a little paring knife just so I can cut this little bit of root off. All right, so I finished peeling all these beets. I'm gonna again put them in another dish of cold water, and I am going to get them finished being cleaned one more time. So all I do is just kind of rub them one more time. I want to make sure I didn't miss any of the little pieces of beet skin, and just put these on the cookie sheet. All right, let me show you how I cut these up. Now these I'm just gonna kind of cut in half, I think. These little ones I'm gonna leave the way they are. And I want them all kind of the same consistency. So these I'm gonna cut into quarters. And they're soft enough now, it's very easy, just a half. These bigger ones, we're gonna cut maybe into 6 pieces. I don't usually like letting them get quite this big. I've just found that for the pickled beets, the smaller ones are just a better pickled beet. They're more tender, and they just, I don't know, they just can up better. Now this ½ pint might end up being too small, but we'll see. Might be able to put a few more beets in some of those other jars. Okay, we did it. All right, so now all we're gonna do is put some of this hot pickling spice sauce into our beets. So we're gonna put a ½ inch of headspace for our liquid, and I do the beets just up to an inch. So you're gonna have a little bit more liquid covering these jars. So this was just the perfect amount. I really don't have hardly any leftover canning liquid. It's just right. Before I clean the lids, I'm just gonna go ahead and go around, make sure there's no air bubbles in here. Brand new lids and some bands. Into the canner they go. So I have a lot of cooking liquid left from my beets. Now I'm not talking about the syrup, I'm talking about what I boiled the skins off with. So I decided that this time I'm gonna reserve about 3 cups of that beet liquid, and I'm gonna try making some beet jelly for a recipe I have had for a long time. I have been dying to try it. So in the next couple of days, look for that. I'm gonna have that as one of my videos. So I'm gonna be straining off 3 cups of beet juice, and then I'll show you how I make that pretty soon. Well, my pickled beets are all done. They came out absolutely gorgeous. I know they're gonna taste so good, and they are gonna give me lots of enjoyment for many salads. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope this was interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring the bell for future notifications. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.